Here we are already into the second quarter of 2017. And as you watch this market, the markets look to have booked some decent gains in the first 90 days of the year. 3 months ago, everyone was positive that we were headed in an inevitable direction with Trump as president. Some were sure it was a terrible direction, and others were highly optimistic of what could happen. At the end of the first 90 days, there's been very little change that's actually occurred. Well, they've been trade issues. There's a push for American manufacturers to keep production here in the U.S., talk of building that new wall, and people are freaked out about climate change, wildlife, and that North Korea test nuclear missile, but that's just all little stuff. The big things that Trump campaigned on, healthcare reform, tax cuts, and rebuilding of America, think bridges, airports, and highways, have so far not had enough support to even garner a vote, much less get approval. Some say this is the great part of American democracy. Not even the Republicans can agree on what to agree about. We have so many checks and balances that not any one party is coming to agreement on their own. And Mr. Market has noticed as the so-called Trump rally seems to have finally run its initial course since right around Valentine's Day. And we've seen the market slowly meander sideways and slightly down over the last 8-week period. As for some other investment themes that we've talked about, banks and financial stocks and American small and mid-cap companies, they've stalled out a little from where they were at the start of the year, and as there's a real concern about who really will benefit from Trump in the White House. Despite Mr. Market questioning which sectors will do well, the typical equities we all think of as growth stocks have continued their northward climb. Think Apple, Amazon. Amazon's just a few points from Jeff Bezos being named the richest man in the world, overtaking Bill Gates, which would be pretty amazing. Google and Facebook and even Starbucks, they've begun to show signs of life again for the first time in a while. Maybe they're finally onto something with those new coffee bars. Overall earnings for the quarter suggest that the average Americans are continuing this no-wage raise recovery. And that is that people are working and earning, but they're not getting raises due to the squeeze that all companies across the board are feeling from rising costs within the business, whether in HR, compliance, or healthcare. And this is within an environment of people being smarter and better users of technology with the ubiquity of smartphones, whether they're using them to check Google Flights for a good deal, or maybe make a purchase through Amazon Prime so they don't have to set foot in a store, or watching Netflix for movies. The problem that you have right now is consumer behavior continues to change as people are trying to make their dollars go farther and farther. And longer term, I kind of wonder what will happen when we have even higher interest rates for things like homes and auto and student and personal loans in this economic climate where the majority of consumers are already feeling squeezed. If we are truly a consumer-driven economy, this could lead to an economy that needs people to consume more, but where consumers have been priced out of consumption. And that could lead to the next collapse within our financial system. Our outlook for the year remains the same. I still believe the economy is on the improve. And at the end of the day, investors will buy stocks in companies that are growing their top line through the sale of goods and services that people actually want, and that are also actually paying dividends to their investors. At the same time, we favor alternative investments such as real estate and equipment leasing over traditional 10 to 30-year bonds, whether U.S. government bonds, international, or corporate. With interest rates rising and short-term bond yields improving just a bit, we now just started also offering an InvestNet income model. And that's an income portfolio that's available within our InvestNet investment accounts. If you're interested in exploring this option, just give our team a call so we can walk you through all the pros, cons, and various options that come with this account. But it might be able to get you a little bit more yield than what a bank account could get. Over the next 6 to 9 months, we do anticipate that the markets will experience more volatility than we've seen in the first 3 months. And as we get more economic earnings and Federal Reserve related data as points of reference on how the economy is doing in our overall outlook, there'll be some things that we need to think about there. But market volatility, keep in mind, has nothing to do with anything other than just creating a little bit of indigestion, right? Markets sometimes go up, they sometimes go down. And if you think about indigestion in human terms, it's simply this. Sometimes, you eat a little too much food and you get some indigestion. Sometimes it goes away quickly and you can just eat freely again. And sometimes you have to throw up. Yuck, right? But it always passes. It always passes. So keep that in mind. We'll see you next time.